Hey guys, welcome back to Godzillathon, and I'm very sorry about this other delay I could have done last week. Well, here's the truth. It's because that I realized that I don't start class until the other week, which is probably on Monday right now, and it's so I probably got enough time to finish um this one and the next one before I start because I really am running out of time and I gotta finish this before I gotta finish the show already before like college starts. And every weekend I will post more episodes, and like I said, October will be closed for Godzillathon just for the month, alright? Well, anyways, we are now on episode 14 of Godzillathon, and this is where we start the duology of probably the best. This one's known as Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This is the original one, and probably one of my favorite movies of all time. In the original title in the US version was Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster and Godzilla vs. the Bionic Monster. What the fuck is that? Oh boy. So, what can I say? This movie came out in 1974, Godzilla's 20th anniversary. So, that's probably because Toho decided to cut the bullshit right now. We've seen the big G, like, as a force of destruction, as a villainous character to a children's loving defender of the earth with these four weird movies from Revenge all the way to Megalon. So instead, Toho just wants to make something that they really want to try, especially Godzilla destroying, become a force of destruction and keeping him as a good guy at the same time. Why and how? Well, we got two Godzillas for the price of one. Yep, two Godzillas for the price of one. This is one of my favorite Godzilla movies of all time. I adore this movie. Also, I forgot to mention in the previous review, to those of you who like Godzilla vs. Megalon, I know there are a few G fans I know of, like Goji73 and Monster Island Buddies. I'm sure you guys loved Godzilla vs. Megalon. I actually wanted to say, if you like this movie, I could totally respect that. I respect you guys. Don't get me wrong. But anyways, moving on here. This movie, I'm sorry to say, but this movie is really entertaining and it's really good. I mean, what can I say? This movie is just fantastic. But with that being said, let's begin. So the movie opens up with in a mountain, probably a snow mountain, and then you see Anguirus just walking slowly and roaring calmly until you see until the explosions at the night. There's explosions, which is probably located at Mount Fuji, and we get to see some opening logos, which are the badass opening logos ever. Oh my god, that is awesome. And yeah, pretty much of that. So then we move on to after the opening logos or the titlings, the cast members and everything. We see a performer of a performance of with the Azumi royal family, along with the descendant female known as Nami, who is played by Bella Lynn. I guess that's her name right there. Yeah. So she was performing with a lovely voice. Kazuki Shimizu and his brother Masahiko, they witnessed to join in for something until she actually saw a terror, in her mind or her vision she saw a monster attacking, in which a stock footage you could see King Ghidorah. Then those two guys I mentioned try to ask
What's wrong? At once she collapsed in terror. Her grandfather walks to her, or just runs to her like crazy, like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And Nami shouts, "There's a monster! A monster's trying to kill us all," and stuff like that. Yeah, and he goes, "A monster?" or something like that. It's a pretty good opening to find out like the whole point of what monster's gonna attack Okinawa, which makes sense for it. So afterward, Kizuki drops his brother off at Goiso Goi Gokenkusen. Yeah, it's a cave as he heads to his job at an excavation site on the island. Inside the cave, Masahiko finds a bizarre piece of metal and brings it to the professor, known as Hidento Miyahima, who is played by the same guy who played Dr. Serizawa in the original Godzilla, which they were located on Mount Fuji. The professor remarks that the metal is unlike any found on Earth and likely originated from outer space, given in the name space titanium. You already know who's made out of space titanium. I cannot spoil it, but you're gonna have to find out like later on. So as he studies the metal more closely, an earthquake suddenly strikes his laboratory. His daughter Iko, I think that's her name, Iko, mentions that these tremors have been occurring frequency over recent days. Meanwhile, in Okinawa, we're going back to Okinawa. Kizuki investigates a cave that has recently been uncovered and was joined by the government, known as Seiko Kaneshiro. Yep, that's right. Inside they find a mural that seems to depict prophecy of along with a statue of King Caesar. Yeah, there are actually two statues right there. There, I believe two. I guess I already know what happened to one of them before this monster's already released. There's I think there's two statues or three. I don't know. The legendary guardian monster of Azumi, of Azumi royal family. Yeah, you know the main female, Nami. Yeah, her family. She's the royal family, and her protector is King Caesar. Some people refer to him as King Caesar or King Shisa, but I call him King Caesar because I'm more used to it. Yeah. So Seiko begins that to observe in secret by two mysterious guys. She boards a plane for Tokyo and runs into Keisuke on the flight. Yeah, in the plane who's also traveling there to visit the family. Until they actually see a mountain, that scene with a mountain that's full of black clouds and everything. It's there's dark clouds coming out. That means an evil monster might come out. Who knows you might know what the evil monster is, and which it would try to destroy the world. But when the red moon sets and the sun rises in the west, two monsters will appear to save the people. She says it's going to be. She said that. Well, yeah, I guess. So there was actually going to be two monsters saving the world. Blah 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 blah. One of the shady men that was observing Seiko, I can't say her name right, earlier, who was also in the plane, in the same flight with her, and introduces himself to her, and Keisuke. I forgot to tell you, this guy who has a brother, who has a brother, Masahiko or something. He's actually played by Masaki Daimon. Is that his name? I try to get that name right. So he said, like, so when he introduces himself as a freelance reporter, he says he hopes she will share her story with him, and he will make a lot of money if he reports on. Why would you make a lot of money? Oh my god, that's the stupidest thing ever. So, and lots of characters are actually concerned about this gigantic black mountain, which we're gonna get to soon. Oh my god. So, sorry, I'm gonna have to fast forward a little bit more just to get to another point. So when these characters were holding on to, like, Kizuki and Seiko, arrived with the statue at Tokyo alongside, the professor, another earthquake happened. This time, it's where the island is. You know, the island with a black mountain and dark clouds? Well, a monster has been awoken finally, and it looks like it was a throwing ball coming out of a volcano. Yeah, I know, it is stupid. And then we get to see, which presumably Godzilla. That's one of them, right? Well, guess what? There's one thing I had to complain so bad when people were like, "Oh my god, why is Godzilla, like, attacking these people? Why is he destroying buildings like usually? Why? Well, look. I just want to tell you guys, it doesn't feel like Godzilla. You think he's just attacking these cities and thinking, why is Godzilla doing that? And just because he's destroyed things. Well, here's the point what I was going to tell you. Your first clue of thinking this is an imposter is the goddamn roar. You remember what his iconic roar sounds like? Well, certainly not that one that goes shh. You heard that, right? That's what it sounds like. And thinking, that's not Godzilla, okay? It doesn't sound at all like him. That's when you know that's an imposter, because that's a fake. So the fake Godzilla destroys shit. And then he ran to Anguirus, which comes out of the ground. Basically, this was supposed to be meant for Baragon, but they replaced him with Anguirus. I wish it was Baragon instead of Anguirus, because having both Godzilla and Anguirus fight, it's so disappointing. And this fight disappointed me. Not because, like, oh, it's too quick. No, it's really sad at the end. So, also, I do remember this line. Something's wrong. Anguirus should not be attacking his friend Godzilla. So, they start fighting. And yes, I know, this feels like a homage to Godzilla Raids Again, which I hate so bad. Anguirus popped out one of the fake Godzilla's flesh. Like, a little flesh. And he realized, holy shit! And realized this is an imposter. So, yep, they start fighting again and again, blah, blah, blah. Fake Godzilla grabs the tail, lifts him up into the air. Booyah, man. And this. You think that was over, right? Well, unfortunately, the fake Godzilla just grabs Anguirus' head and starts ripping his jaw open. Jesus Christ, what a dick! What a dick, man! So fake Godzilla he didn't really kill him, actually. He just rips his jaw open. I'm sure Anguirus healed up his jaw. Like, remember, this takes place before Destroy All Monsters. So, presumably, Anguirus survived. Hopefully he did. Because I'm sure he must have gotten his jaw fixed. But that was the last time we get to see the Anguirus design. So, yeah, that's sad. So, then the fake Godzilla starts walking. And later at night, which I'm going to fast forward again, here's another clue where you think this is an imposter. His atomic breath is yellow, and the sound effect sounds different too. Then which actually it was located at night in a factory, I believe. Yeah, a factory. Um, Godzilla wakes up from, just comes out of a building. Well, not building, just like somewhere like a power plant room, or like a house or something. I can't really explain it. So and he starts attacking God. So he starts attacking the fake Godzilla, and both of them starts fighting. It's a pretty good match of two Godzillas for the price of one, and say, oh, which one's real? Which one's real? And Godzilla keeps taking off the flesh, like the flesh of the fake Godzilla, and then the professor goes, now I get it. The one that came out of Mount Fuji was a robot, not a cyborg, a robot. And then they could call it a Mechagodzilla. That explains everything. And we also get to see footages of the guys who control Mechagodzilla. The aliens. Yes, these aliens that control Mechagodzilla. Which I'll get to those guys in a moment. And of course the leader goes, damn you, Godzilla. You think your powers are outmatched for Mechagodzilla. Or something like that. And of course, this scene. Definitely the best Mechagodzilla intro ever. That was badass. Yeah, that was very badass. The way how he looked is awesome. So Mechagodzilla starts shooting finger missiles, and Godzilla's like just gets hurt for a little bit. When Godzilla's on ground, he even shoots eye beams, which is pretty awesome. Rainbow eye beams. It's just awesome. They both fire at each other. Godzilla's atomic breath and Mechagodzilla's rainbow eye beams, and boom! Boom. Mechagodzilla just gets a little critically damaged, but Godzilla fell right to the ocean, and then you can actually see gushy blood coming out from there. Wow. Yeah, this movie is probably the bloodiest Godzilla movie in the world. Yeah, this is the bloodiest one. Wow. So then Mechagodzilla retreats back. While Mayahima and the others reach the cave in Okinawa. While Mayahima and the others reach the cave, they are held at gunpoint by two strange guys wearing silver jumpsuits. Silver jumpsuits. They are brought into a secret lair inside the cave and are greeted by Kuronuma, I think so, who introduces themselves as the leader of the Black Hole Planet's 3 aliens. Like, you notice that they're the same guys, which is probably in the next movie. And you want to know what the silliest thing you could ever notice? Their true forms are apes. No kidding. Which, honestly, let me get to that in a moment. So the Kuronuma has Iko and Masahiko taken to the execution room and promise Mayahima they will spare if he helps them repair Mechagodzilla. Kuronuma then gives the order for the monster, which then Mayahima just agreed. He agreed, of course, and get to work on fixing Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Meanwhile, Keisuke, I think that's his name, bringing the King Caesar statue with them. Yeah, he was holding on to it. Meanwhile, Godzilla was on Monster Island, and he gets struck by lightning so many times, which is probably one of his biggest bad lucks. God just struck lightning to him, and probably gave him some type of new power, which I'll get to that in a moment soon. Sorry for, what was I gonna say again? Okay, so another night, Yanagawa breaks into Saigo's cabin and steals the King Caesar statue. So Keisuke, he actually he shot him like right a little bit on the cheek, which struck by, and turned himself into his true form, an ape. Yeah, he's an alien. Come on. After a brief scuffle, Casey shoots Yanagawa in the face, revealing. He shot him in the face. Yeah. So Yanagawa takes the statue and runs onto the ship. Yeah, on the deck of the ship, who was pursued by, Kaisuke. Yanagawa was about to like, when he got the gun and he ambushed him, he was like, go there. Yeah, he was gonna shoot him like into the ocean until he falls into the ocean. Until then, he was actually shot. He was actually shot by another guy, and boom. Yep, he was shot by someone else, and that sound he made, woo! Whatever he did, it was so fun. I couldn't stop laughing when he did that sound to fall into the ocean. That was funny. Actually, what's really sad is that he had the statue with him. That sucks. So Seiko runs onto the deck and finds Case, telling him that the statue is gone. Of course, the statue's gone. So when the Queen Coral arrives in Okinawa, Keisuke reveals that the statue that went overboard was a duplicate, and he kept the real statue in a safe ship. Yeah, safe on the ship. Yeah, I'm sure of it. When Seiko and Keisuke arrived at the hotel where Maihima and the others were staying, they learned none of them and have been in several days. Keisuke and he heads to the Goisuken cave to search for them. Of course, while Seiko stays behind and at the hotel with the second statue at the alien base, Maihima completes its work on Mechagodzilla, only to be thrown into the execution chamber with Masahiko and Eiko. Koronuma activates the chamber, which releases hot steam and produces intense heat in order to boil the prisoners alive. Which honestly, that scene, I when I was a kid, I remember shaking my legs big time. How scary that could be, how bad that could actually feel, because it's brutal and it's hot boiling shit. Christ, that's like being trapped in the microwave. So when Keisuke arrives, searches the cave, he finds Maihima being in a melted pipe with other people, which contains positive and negative searches and electrodes that allows it to destroy the circuits in machinery. I don't know. Keisuke is then held at gunpoint by the aliens, who is himself shot by the freelancer reporter from earlier. The strange man finally introduces himself as Nabara, an Interpol agent. Yeah, the guy who shot the ape from the ship. He never revealed himself.
those goddamn glasses. He's a badass. So he reveals himself that Interpol has had been following the aliens for 6 months, and he started following Keisuke once he got caught up in the aliens scheme. Yeah. Nabara takes the aliens hostage and forces him to give them across to the alien base. They manage to overpower 2 aliens to steal their uniforms. Then opened up the execution chamber to free everyone else, including Mahima. I was like, oh, thank God. That's definitely, thank God for that. So two more aliens arrive and hold them at gunpoint, but they were shot. Thank God for that. So the humans flee the alien base, of course, and prepare to get Keisuke's car, but Nabara anticipates a trap and uses a wire to turn the ignitions or whatever it is from outside the vehicle, activating a car bomb set by the aliens, of course. It's like Godzilla vs. Gigan, a car trap, but it turned out to be a trick. Yeah, this is somewhat similar. So Karunuma, the alien leader, assumes the humans are killed once the car explodes and prepare to launch Mechagodzilla. Yeah. As dawn approaches, the moon takes on the red color and begins to set further, completing Azumi's prophecy. Nabara takes Kazuki and the others to get the King Caesar statue and awaken the monster while he goes back into the aliens base and deals with them. By the way, so they finally get to do it. I mean, thank God for that. And then, which I heard, which by the way, Masahiko and Mahima insist on accompanying Nabara at 3 of them, and then the 3 of them go back into the aliens base. And I will remember this line forever. I'm gonna go back inside and take care of those bastards. So that's something I could have said, like, if I want to do something to kick someone's asses. That'll be awesome. So they put that statue on top when the red moon launches the statue to glow. The mountain explodes and revealed to be King Caesar. Yes, the same mountain explosion you see in the beginning of the movie. It finally revealed King Caesar. He's like a lion dog type god, I don't know, or a monkey, but he's a very cool monster. Nami goes to the beach to sing for a royal family. Mechagodzilla's orders was to kill King Caesar while he's still asleep, and her singings, I will admit, it's a beautiful song. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful song. I loved it. The only problem is, if you like to sing it, that's gonna be a problem, because the song goes on for a really long time. Oh man, so beautiful. And then after all that ended, which by the way, you think it was over, but then she starts to sing again, and then boom, at the end, boom, the mountain explodes big time, and King Caesar starts to wake up. Oh my God, yes. Imagine if you get out of bed and you have this big explosion like above you. You'll be like, oh yeah, like if you get out of bed, like, and then boom, explosions. That would be awesome. I wish I had that. So I mean, everyone likes him a lot. So Mechagodzilla and King Caesar are beating the crap out of each other. And here's a sad thing. King Caesar's supposed to be like a fighter and stuff like. Oh, and by the way, I love when Mechagodzilla fire his eye beam and it deflects King Caesar eye from one and then blasts from the other. That's pretty cool. And here's a sad thing. King Caesar, even though King Caesar was a great fighter, Mechagodzilla just beats the living shit out of him. Was about to fire his finger missile until Godzilla rises from the ocean. He's back. Yay. Round 2, folks. Round 2. So Godzilla enters and him and Mechagodzilla start the attack or something. Godzilla blasts his atomic breath, but Mechagodzilla jumps with some rocket boosters. I forgot to mention he can fly. King Caesar gets blasted, well, just on the rock, not trying to kill Godzilla. But then Godzilla's like, God damn it, Mechagodzilla can't fly. Yes, he can. When King Caesar gets up to fight Mechagodzilla, like behind him, but here's an awesome moment. Mechagodzilla could turn his head, like, yeah, 360 degrees head. That's pretty cool. So he turns around just for his head. He can attack like both monsters from either behind or in front of him. It's very, very cool. I really love that. So Godzilla and King Caesar may have gotten their asses kicked right there. And here's another awesome thing what Mechagodzilla has. A beam coming out from a chest, like a beam coming out from his chest. Very nice. I forgot to mention, not only he has, during the time he attacks from both behind and in front of him, he also has toe missiles and knee missiles, and not just finger missiles. Mechagodzilla's a really powerful Terminator. Like, really. Which I'll explain the Terminator thing in a moment. So, I guess that was pretty awesome. Mechagodzilla has so many weapons. This is probably the toughest Mechagodzilla I've ever seen. Too many weapons compared to, like, the future ones, which I'll get to those in the future. So then Mechagodzilla spins his head around, like spins his head right around, and creates a force field, a blue force field. It doesn't work with atomic breaths. Your atomic breath can't work, Godzilla, and don't touch that shit. Yeah, he did, and somehow his finger kind of burned. Mechagodzilla fired so much, like really pretty awesome. After all that shit that these two were trying to deal with, both Godzilla and King Caesar, these monsters were completely outmatched. Mechagodzilla flies once again, and this time, Mechagodzilla actually, like, fire his eye beams a bunch of times. Godzilla bleeds from his neck and his mouth. Mechagodzilla keeps firing at the same spot and turns Godzilla into a blood sprinkler. Oh my god. I couldn't stop watching that. It was disturbing. It was so disturbing to look at when I was a kid. And oh my god. It was pretty disturbing that Godzilla gets his ass kicked and starts bleeding big time from his first ever matched. His first ever clone makes him bleed the most. I mean, Gigan made him bleed. Was the first one to make Godzilla bleed. But Mechagodzilla just makes him bleed even more. Like, he's really tough. Then he starts shooting finger missiles again, and just took down Godzilla. Like, really, he did. Godzilla gets back up, and remember the lightning punishment that God did? Well, he actually gave him new abilities. The darts gets off of his skin, and boom, He just turned himself into some kind of a magnet. He starts pulling Mechagodzilla like it's like Godzilla is he like Magneto or something? I mean, God. He controls Mechagodzilla. Like, what? What is that? So, Mechagodzilla has been controlled by Godzilla to like fly around and everything, and he went down to the ground. Kamuro. So Mechagodzilla actually gets his ass beaten by both Godzilla keeps holding him. King Caesar just runs and just beats the shit out of him. Like, wow. Like, wow, he really did that. And Godzilla just twists his head. Like he just twists his head, like, breaks it apart. Like, wow, you killed him big time. And his neck. It was his neck that actually comes off, not just his head. It's his entire neck, and that's what killed Mechagodzilla. And of course, Kuranuma's line was hilarious. He goes, "I can't believe it. The magnificent machine, Mechagodzilla, has been defeated." So actually, during Nabara and actually before all this, Nabara and the other two guys were the professor, Mahimas, the professor, of course. They were captured during the battle, and but right now we're actually getting the part where they free handcuffs already with some weird thing, and then they shoot guns at the final aliens, including the leader Koronuma, and revealed to be apes again. And the three guys actually got out of safety. Yay! That sums it all up. The whole base explodes, and Mechagodzilla explodes. Godzilla jumps into the ocean like you can't see it. Mechagodzilla turned into some kind of weird snowflakes. Like, okay. And Godzilla actually swims away from Okinawa probably back to Monster Island, and King Caesar just decides to sleep back into his mountain for another sleep. So the Azumi royal family can now rest peacefully. Like, they can finally rest after all those monster battles and King Caesar's protection. It's all over. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yay. Oh man, that was probably one of the longest reviews I have ever done. I think it's probably the longest one I've done. Maybe there's future longer ones I could actually do. And what can I say? This is probably one of the best Godzilla movies in the world. I highly recommend it if you have not seen it. So what do I think so far? The characters are wonderful. They're wonderful characters. Nami's singing was beautiful. Almost as beautiful as the Shubijin Mothras. The alien villains, pretty interesting. I like them better than all other other aliens from the Showa. This is probably the best. These guys are probably the best ones, and which they're the same guys in the next installment, which I'll get to them soon. The movie once again was directed by Jun Fukuda. I think that's his name, right? And still no Akira Ifukube, but the music composer in this one his soundtrack was great. Great soundtrack. Let's talk about the monsters. Let me start from probably just for a little bit until we get to the main point. Anguirus, honestly, I'm kind of sad. I'm just sad that he was treated like that. Yeah, like I said, the original Mechagodzilla's a dick. Damn it, man. So, this movie really dig it up for for Anguirus. He did great. He did fine. Um, at least he put up a fight. It should have been Baragon that should get his ass kicked by Mechagodzilla, not Anguirus. Come on, give me a break. But at least Anguirus is okay. He was great in the movie. But with that being said, let's talk about the three monsters. Let's start with the introduction of this character, King Caesar. So, like I said, some people refer to him as King Caesar or King Shisa, but I call him King Caesar because I'm more used to it. He is hilarious in this movie. I like him in this movie. And oh, I forgot to mention to tell you, to those of you out there, wait, I'll get to that in a moment. King Caesar, reflects that kind of attack that Mechagodzilla has. That was pretty cool. The roar is like it's like King Kong's roar from the Showa Godzilla films, but just a little bit high pitched, I guess. So after all, so that's pretty cool. I really love King Caesar. I even like this design more. And speaking of which, the guy who directed Godzilla Final Wars, Ryuhei Kitamura, he said he actually announced Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla was his favorite Godzilla movie, and that's the reason why King Caesar was in Final Wars. That's the point, right? But speaking of the character wise for the title, let's talk about the first Mechagodzilla. Let me be honest, people. I don't care which Mechagodzilla is gonna be on my top list or whatever, blah blah blah. All Mechagodzillas, I like all of them at the same time. I like the two other Toho ones that were made back then. I like Ready Player One, and I even loved this enemy one, which whatever it was. But I like them all as one character, Mechagodzilla. And from what I ranked, this Mechagodzilla, I think, is the best one because I can't even put my finger on what should I complain for Mechagodzilla. This is probably the best Mechagodzilla in the world. And I swear to God, I hope this Mechagodzilla will be part. I hope Legendary Pictures of Warner Brothers can actually use a characterization of Mechagodzilla like this one and put it into the MonsterVerse. Ugh. Imagine if that happens. I would love it so much. I would love it. And as I mentioned before, this is a Terminator Godzilla. You know what the funniest thing about that? That this movie came out first, right before Terminator did. And Terminator came out in 1984. This movie came out in 1974. Isn't that shocking to you guys? Because it's shocking to me. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And let's finally talk about Godzilla. It's pretty much the same Godzilla from the previous film, except they kind of made him a little meaner. Yeah, they kind of did. And also, all this happened, like, everything about this takes place right after Zone Fighter. Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure I mentioned this. This movie takes place after Zone Fighter. Oh, fucking dogs. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So, my final thoughts on this movie, when I introduce it to people who are not Godzilla fans, fuck yes, you should. Fuck yes, you should. It's one of the best movies in the world. So, my final verdict on this movie, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Definitely one of the best Godzilla movies in the world. Definitely one of it. So, yeah, you people should go watch it if you have not seen it. So, 10 out of 10, and I feel like we're almost done with the show. We're moving on to, holy crap, I'm sorry, I'm feeling like exaggerating on this one because I'm so excited to review this movie big time. Holy crap, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to review it. Alright, I'll see you guys probably next time, alright? Good luck out there. This is SB Goji Fans signing off. Thanks for watching this.